Welcome back everyone. If you're new here, my name is Bryan Jenks, and today we're going to rewire my server rack. You've likely seen this giant thing behind me for many videos now. I work in IT, I love technology, and I have some servers, and I have a whole bunch of really nerdy stuff going on behind me. I'm going to make more content about it in the future. I'm on my last term of school. When I finish that, I plan to dive a little bit more into the tech content. But I did have a sponsor reach out and actually want to provide me some really awesome cable management equipment to help me manage the large amount of cables in the back of the server rack. So I have a 48 port switch. It's an enterprise grade switch, and I got a lot of cables. I'm still like maybe halfway filling up that switch, but it adds up, and all those cables become very difficult to manage. So we got some new cable management supplies that I'm going to show you, test out, and review. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. The best ways to support the channel are, if you're going to do it on an ongoing basis, GitHub sponsors because they take no fees, followed by Patreon. If you're going to do like a one-time thing, buy me a coffee, PayPal, or just fine. And if you just want to support me without any money involved, the best thing you can do is like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and that's it. So, who is the sponsor of today's video? The sponsor of today's video is FS, an international company focused around networking, cabling, and all sorts of data center and technological needs. And I have some really interesting products from them to help me better manage the cables in my server rack. Now, some things that they sent me are these vertical cable manage arms, and these go onto the side, the posts of the actual rack and stay vertical like this. I've never actually used these before, so I'm interested in seeing how they actually work with the setup that I think I'm going to do with these. So I got a couple of those, and then I got a horizontal cable manager, and this is a bigger one and a little bit nicer than the ones that I actually have currently. I think I have a couple things like this, but this one is a bigger one. And so what I'm envisioning is having my vertical cable managers feeding in to the actual back of the switch, and having this, actually, let's figure it out when we get over there, because I actually have no idea how I actually want to configure this. I kind of wanted to look back there, get some, get my bearings about it, and decide. But this is very nice quality. Two holes in the back to allow the cables to come in or out, and then the various holes in the arms to allow cables to run in and out. Wow, this is something that you might put on the front, but it doesn't really allow my door to do that. So what I might do is actually run the cables from the bottom of my floor, that are running on the floor from the attic, come into here, and then actually distribute through the armholes to the side, keep managed, and then go in through these vertical arms into the back of the switch. I'm not sure yet. Let's go play around in the back of the rack. So I'm 6'6", or 198 centimeters for those of you who use metric. This rack is taller than me. Like, it keeps going. So it's pretty tall, and I'm going to show you behind what all I have going on with the cabling, because it's kind of organized, but let's see what we can do with this new equipment and how we can make the cabling better. Alright, let's check it out. Okay, pardon my mess a bit, but all the way in this closet, my cables come down, and they wrap around all the way on the inside of this wall, right in here. It attaches to that wall and gets ran and zip tied all the way down that wall. You can see it in there. All the way down to the floor, forgive all the mess, and goes underneath the bookcase to help organize it, and comes out into the back of the rack. Let's go around so we can see the input side. So after it comes out from underneath the bookcase, it comes up, 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 all the way up into the distribution areas. And so these are the two that I have, kind of like the one that I just got from SF, or FS. And so this, I'm using two of these distribution things, but instead I might only need to use one, or I could use the vertical ones. And what I can instead do is actually have all of these cables come up into the actual distribution thing here, and then, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to configure this. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to look at everything and actually play around a little bit, and you guys can watch me on a zoomed up or a fast forwarded view of how I'm going to reconfigure all this, and I'll probably do a voiceover so you can, or at least so I can be somewhat entertaining while you watch me fiddle with cables. And pretty much every blue cable that is in here, I made myself. Like, I bought the bolt cable, I terminated every end, I added the jackets, added everything, I got zip tie labels for what everything is all routing around. Pretty much every blue cable I made myself. And they run all the way through the attic, through the garage, throughout the whole house, around this room. All the stuff terminates into this server rack. So let's get in and have some fun, and I will speed this up so you can just listen to me do a voiceover of it while I get some work done. So, enjoy! Alright, so first thing I did was, of course, start opening stuff up, examining what I have going on in this, not rat's nest, but still chaos of a server rack. You might be able to see some of my cats coming in occasionally. But I spent a lot of time just looking at what was going on, actually cracking open the new gear, looking at how it's supposed to work, because I've never actually used pieces like, at least the one I'm holding right there, the vertical arm things. I'm figuring out like how many rack units it needs to go across, where I might put it. I had to actually get rid of that large, I think it's 8 U's, something like that, maybe even more. That giant metal panel in the back I was using as a backing for my little sliding tray, but that had to go. Don't have room for it right there anymore, for the time being anyways. And was looking at what this new little box thing will work like. I actually really like these ones. I give an explanation why later, but it's super nice. But in any case, what I ended up doing was seeing that, oh wait, I'm gonna have some problems, because I used these little kind of like tube box things to route the cables, and I have 2 of them there, and I was like routing them through both of them, and it's just like a big question mark of why did I do that? Not advisable, and honestly the way that this cabling is set up is not even probably what would actually be in a real life scenario, because I know I'm probably doing stuff way backwards compared to convention of how this stuff is normally done in the real world. So it's a home lab, it's just for experimentation and fun, and it's all fun, but a lot of what I did is probably not advisable, and don't do everything you see on the internet. But here I am taking off this big panel that usually keeps stuff from falling out the back end of that tray. I'm seeing like, okay, I probably have to lose that big panel because these arms are like 6 to 8 U's. And where am I going to put this thing? How am I going to put this thing? What is it going to look like? And just trying to place things, figure it out, because it's going to be a lot of work to get this whole thing configured. Anyway, because now I need to decouple my setup. I need to actually take all those cables, unplug, run them backwards out through that management box thing on the back, and then plug them back into the same ports. And I have a lot of stuff already plugged into my switch, or the patch panel, really. So, and ultimately, like, maybe what I should do in the future is actually just put 2 boxes on the front and forego the patch panels and have the cords coming through the back and out into the front or something. Who knows? Honestly, I don't know yet, because I'm going to be eventually moving the rack to the garage when I finish the garage, so I can get this thing out of my office. It's kind of big, and if I move it out, I might get a bigger one, because I can't even put the back door on this rack because of, well, everything is a little bit too long. You can see the back blaze pod there sticking out the back, and my servers in general with the little management arms in the back, I really just don't have any room. So I might be buying a new rack in the future, so that I actually have room to close everything up and actually put it out somewhere where the size is not going to matter as much. Yep, you learn as you go when it comes to Homelabs. But this is me just trying to figure out, oh crap, why did I do this stuff the way that I did it? Now I need to undo things and redo things and hashtag regret life choices here. So I ended up starting to take out some, cage nuts, some the actual screws, and at this point I was actually trying to do like an extra credit assignment thing where I thought maybe now would be a good time, since I'm already rerouting stuff, to redo my patch panels, where I wanted to actually set up my Ubiquity patch panels. And, well, let's just say that it did not work out well, because I had to reroute everything, and ultimately the deciding factor was that I could not easily extract the keystones from my existing patch panel to even put them into the new one, to even then think about routing stuff to this patch panel. But by golly, did I actually try to get this thing in there and implement it, because I wanted to have all nice matching Ubiquity shiny chrome stuff up towards the top. But I guess that project will have to wait until I get this whole thing moved out to the garage. But this is me trying to deal with those keystones, and I'm not sure if I actually show as much, but the frustration is real. I could not for the life of me get a single keystone out of that damn patch panel. And, yeah, frustrating. But moving it down also did help me actually remove the cords, or the cables, from the keystones, run them back out, and then back into the patch panel, so moving it out does and did help with that. And then I ultimately moved them back, but this was a total fail of an effort. I really wanted to get those patch panels set up and have it matching, but ultimately when I move things out to the rack when I put it in the garage, it's just going to be just a clean scrape. Like, I'm going to take out every single unit, I'm going to put it into the new rack, and just start from scratch. So I get to basically have a clean slate to play with this stuff all over again, including cabling, because I'm likely going to have to extend the cables, because I cut them exactly to size. And if I put them back up into the attic and run them out to the garage before I finish up and close off the ceiling part of the garage, then I'm probably going to have to actually extend the cables, and because my distance isn't so horrible, I'm likely just going to do a janky way of extend them just using a keystone, because that way it's a lot less effort for me. But this is me actually removing cables, running them out of those little tube-shaped box things. I don't even know if they have an official name or not. I just call them that. But taking the cables out, running them through outside of the rack, and then back through and into the inside, and just leaving them loose. Like, I'm just leaving stuff loose, let it hang out, and just trying to keep things organized. This is where some of the disjointed jacket colors on the cables actually came in handy. Like, I could remember, okay, blue first, then orange. Take them both out. Right, blues first. Yep, just taking everything out, and also trying to make sure that when I put the cables back in that they're not crisscrossing over other stuff and just tangling things, because I already had to untangle my actual access point, which means that my internet had to shut off briefly. And so I'm not sure if I actually caught it on camera. I actually had to go out and, oh, here I am. Yeah, gotta go tell the fiance, sorry, the internet's gonna be off for a hot minute while I unplug it. Yeah. So, beware when working on server racks to always inform others that your internet will be down. So, once I got that one fixed though, everything else was pretty easy. It's just like the cameras, the floodlights, a bunch of Ubiquity gear, the actual switch, the NVR, yeah, just all of the other stuff that I have plugged in. So unplugging stuff and plugging it back in is probably not advisable. Probably wouldn't do, just, hey, let's just unplug it and then plug it back in. But I didn't really have any issues, thankfully. But yeah, that's kind of what I did. Just unplug it, route it back through, plug it back in. And then after all is said and done, then, you know, consolidating the cables, putting them in the management arms, and getting it to a nicer state. So that was me fixing the patch panels, I believe. Putting them... Oh wait, nope, I didn't put them back up yet. But I'm not quite done removing all those cables. Note to self, don't ever do this crap again. It was really obnoxious and annoying trying to route all this stuff. And honestly, this is actually making me see the value of not using a patch panel and instead having the cables just come out through a management box, through those little fingers of these things, and then up into the switch directly, because having to plug and unplug things into the patch panel is kind of a pain. It's an extra layer of complexity. I have heard people also doing where they've put the switches on the back of the rack so that you could just directly plug things into the switch using these, you know, vertical mounting arms. And I can see the sense in that as well. There's just a little bit more complexity doing things the way that I have it, but at the same time, like, I have everything on the front, and so I can just look at it all there, but yeah, who knows? The new rack configuration in the far, far future might be a nicer and better version of my Homelab, but that's a little far off in the future. But hey, half the fun of a Homelab is setting things up, messing with stuff, and redoing it, doing it, redoing it. At least I think so. Part of the biggest fun for me is honestly probably the SQL server that I have. I like SQL Server, so that's always really fun. But I also had issues now with my UPS going off because I think the temperature in my office is getting a little too hot for it, so another reason to get it out into an insulated area is that I need to get this thing so it can breathe better and not choke out my battery so that the batteries go bad 2 years ahead of schedule. But here I had to take off some of my Velcro ties on the thing just to make it so that I could actually group these things better, route them better. You know, set up certain groupings of the cables up higher on the management arms instead of it all just coming out straight from these box things. But I also had to untangle these power cords because I also, as a total genius, routed power cords through these management boxes. So I straight up had to yank the power cords out of the switch and the gateway. Not sure if that's a smart idea or not, but, you know, did what I had to do there. Didn't notice any ill effects, but yeah. I'm not sure if I lost the last clip or not, but kept going through with this, got the management arms set up, and here's what the finished result looks like for now. Lots left to do, but the vertical arms, keep the cables off to the side. I can get in there if I need to. It's a little cleaner. You know, this is probably not the ideal thing that you might want to do with your own home lab. It's probably not advisable according to what you do at work. But hey, home labs are fun. This is what mine looks like right now, and there's more good stuff to come in the future. So that's the project for today. I hope you all enjoyed watching me try and figure out how the hell I'm going to decouple all of the cables and the knots and the where things are located, and it's always a never-ending project with a home lab. They are incredibly fun, but they are also a lot of work and sometimes a lot of money. But the products that were shown today by FS are not super expensive. They are awesome, really great quality, and you can see the intention and the thought put into the designs. The wider teeth on the front feeding 2U block thing. I don't really know the official term for that. But this thing, you can tell the intentional design choices that really make this an awesome piece of equipment. Though I'm not using it yet, I will likely do it when I reconfigure the entire rack from scratch when I move it. But just compared to the other unit, for instance, these ones, if one of these teeth get pushed out like this, they don't lock onto the actual panel, which means it can be kind of a pain to get those sliding things on and off. Whereas these ones actually have a guided track inside so that the entire unit, every single tooth is solidly locked in to the actual panel. The wider actual gaps between the teeth, the lack of sharp edges on these really just shows that there was so much more thought put into this design, and it just looks like a better tool. I'm looking forward to using this when I do the full reconfiguring of the server rack, but I really like this product. And the vertical cable managers, really love those, especially if I have anything running in from the side. I know it looks like it's more meant for running fiber optic cable to a bunch of, I guess, termination unit things. I don't deal with fiber yet because we don't have it where I live. But really love the products, highly recommend. There will be links, and all the stuff will be in the video description and likely the pinned comment as well. Do check out the equipment. I really like it, and I'm probably going to go and pick up a few things on my own from their website, so check them out. With all that said, I hope you found the video interesting. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next one.